Welcome to Golf High IQ, where we're going to unlock the score you deserve by mastering the shots that matter most. Short game. We're going to learn concepts, technical pieces, training, assessments, and tracking to get you to your next level. Welcome, Golf High IQ members. This is Brian Bailie here, bringing you a new series. We're going to start talking short game and why do I suck at short game. This is the number one issue I see across the board. Most people really underperform in short game, and the reason why is you don't have the concepts, the skills, the training, the assessments, and the tracking to become a better short game player. So this episode is designed for you, and the really cool part of this is I'm actually going to stretch this out to an 8-week series. Typically, I like to do 4-week series, but we're going to throw some technical pieces in the middle. So a lot of people don't quite understand a lot of the skills and the technical pieces to really build a short game. They have short game shots, but they don't have a true short game. So I'm going to give you some skills, training, and some technical pieces to build upon in the next few weeks. So when we get into training and we get into assessments, we get into play and tracking, you'll have a completely different game mindset and ability to save par. So let's dive in here and learn more about scrambling. But before we get there, kind of a somber note here inside of the GolfCast world. A good friend of mine, a guy behind the scenes that has been doing work for me for a lot of years, free. Bill Scher is in the hospital. He had a episode, and he is really fighting for his life right now. And I just want to say a little prayer for Bill. I hope you get better. I love you, brother. You've been a mentor and a friend. And you've done a lot for everything I've created here over the last 10 years, as well as GolfCast and what we're building here. So get well, Bill. It's with a heavy heart, brother. All right, sorry. So let's talk short game and give some definitions. So what is short game and what is, inside of short game, we're going to talk scrambles mainly. What is scrambling? The definition of scrambling, if you look at the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, any stat program, scrambling usually means when you miss the green in regulation. So I do not hit a par 3 on my tee shot, or I miss a par 5. My second shot on the par 5 doesn't hit the green. So when I miss a green in regulation, how often do I save par? Scrambling rate. That is what it is. Some people will talk up and ins or up and downs. That just means that I get up and down from a lie condition off the green. Not super duper important because it's not in reference to score. I like scrambling as a good Mendoza line of saying, hey, this short game is really affecting my score. What does it look like? So scramble rate, you'll hear a lot over the next 8 weeks. So I just wanted you to understand that definition. And there's two main proximities we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a 6-foot radius from the hole or a 12-foot diameter around. Sounds rather large, chipping into a 12-foot diameter circle. And then the next one's even doubly big. We're going to go to a 12-foot radius or a 24-foot circle around the green, around the hole. And that's going to give you the two main proximities we're going to really discuss and train and how to get better. And if you notice, I said there's a 6-foot radius and a 12-foot radius. At no point do I say 3 feet's a good shot. It's a great shot. But the best in the world only average 3 feet in on 2 lie conditions. 0 to 10 yards from the fringe and from the fairway. They average 3 feet in. Everything else is outside of 3 feet. So, main concept here, if you're training 3-foot circles on all your shots around the green, you are set up to fail because the best in the world can't even average that. So we have to have a good understanding of what a good shot is, what these rings look like, and then as we're building this out over the next few weeks, we'll talk about lie conditions and what a good shot is disproportionately as we grow. But just want you to understand that the 3-foot circle that a lot of people do inside of training is really unfair because we're just not capable of doing that. So we're going to talk about a 6-foot circle or a 6-foot radius, 12-foot radius. We'll just call it P6, P12, right? Proximity is 6 feet, proximity is 12 feet. So P6, how often do I hit it within 6 feet? That's a question we need to know, right? So the average golfer, well, let's go through our 4 scales, right? If you're a newbie golfer, if you're shooting somewhere in the 90s to the hundreds, your P6 is probably going to be 10 to 15%. So 1 out of 10 shots I'm going to hit within 6 feet, and kind of P12 will be about 30%. So 3 out of 10 shots will be inside of 12 feet. Now, P6 is inside of P12, so it builds on top of that. So just so you know, so 35% of my chips are going to be 12 feet and in, and of that, we're going to have 15% of all of our chips within 6 feet. So what does that mean? My ability to save par really comes, especially as a higher handicapper. I'm not going to make many putts outside of 6 feet. So my ability to hit within 6 feet becomes my scramble rate. So what you really see too is when we talk proximities, we can also talk, it basically mirrors your proximities and your scramble rate really mirror each other. So if my P6 number, my ability to hit within 6 feet is 15%, my scramble rate is going to be somewhere around that. So again, we can use interchangeably P6 as well as scramble percentages. Those are going to be relatively the same. Now, when you become a scratch golfer or better, you'll actually get a 10 to 15% growth over the top of that. But for most of us listening to this video, understand that my ability to hit it within 6 feet is my ability to save par. All right. So a newbie, a 90 to 100 shooter, 100 plus, we're probably looking at 10%, 6 feet and in, and we're going to be looking at probably 35% of all our shots 12 feet and in. As we go to a casual golfer, someone that's shooting somewhere in the 80s, we're going to be looking right around 25 to 28% inside of 6 feet. So we've almost doubled what the newbie shooter is going to do, and we're going to have roughly 52, roughly half of our shots are within inside of 12 feet. Are we starting to see where we're going with training here? Brilliant. Dangerous, we're going to be looking close to 35 to 40% P6. So we're going to have 40% of, or 35 to 40% of our shots within 6 feet, and we're going to have roughly 60 to 65% of our shots inside of 12 feet. So you can see the progression of getting better and better and better as our scores are getting lower and lower. So our enthusiasts, players shooting mid to low 70s or better, we're going to be looking at a P6 rate or a proximity rate of 50%, and our proximity of 12 feet is going to be right around 75%. So 3/4 of a really good player's shots are going to be inside of 12 feet, which means they have a high percentage of putts that they can make, or at least a pretty good percentage of putts that they can make inside of 12 feet. We get outside of 12 feet, there's not a whole lot of making going on, right? So the more proximity, the more shots we can hit within 6 feet and 12 feet gives us a better opportunity to make par, which means we save par more often, we reduce bogeys. Life is good. So that's kind of our steps through. So inside of training, if I'm a 90s to 100 shooter, I'm going to put some tees out at 6 feet. I'm going to put some tees at 12 feet around the, radius around the hole. And I'm going to start hitting from different lie conditions and different yardages. How often can I hit it within that 6 feet circle? How often can I hit it within that 12-foot circle? So if you're, again, a newbie golfer, we're going to try to hit 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10 inside of 6 feet, probably 1 or 2 out of 10 out of 12 feet, and then the rest of those we're probably going to miss our circles. But that's who we are right now, but this is how we're going to train and get out of it. And then we're going to look at lie conditions. What lie conditions are really important? Well, inside a short game, I would say 0 to 30 yards are disproportionately most of your shots. Once we start getting 40, 50 yards, I think you're getting more into pitching, more of a long game mentality, not long game, but you're becoming a more fuller swing. So we're going to kind of let those move out, because when I do teach you some technical pieces, there's going to be kind of a line where you go from chipping short game to pitching, and the motion does change. So we're really going to look at 30 yards and in, because most people can maintain what I'm going to talk about in the next couple weeks out to 30 yards. Some can take it out to 40 or 50. Some it ends right around 30. So this is kind of why we're going to separate. And to give you an idea of kind of the breakdown of what it looks like, so let's look at lie conditions and what we can learn from that inside of training. So I took all the players I've ever known inside of my coaching and said, this is what it kind of looks like. 0 to 10 yards, all the way out to 20 to 30 yards. So we're going to go 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Disproportionately, most of your short game shots are going to come from here. So the first lie conditions and yardages we're going to talk about is 0 to 10 yards. So just around the green. So your fairway, your fringe, and your rough is about 6%. So, again, you're looking at a pretty small number here. We're 18% of our shots are coming from those lie conditions around the green. The part you don't see is 2% comes from the greenside bunker. Here's a major issue inside of training. If you watch some of our other videos in the past, a lot of practice facilities, The bunker is right on top of the green inside of training, so you're hitting a lot of shots 0 to 10 yards. You don't get that shot on the golf course very often. So this is where understanding training and maybe hitting to the back edge of a green or things like that can make you better. And again, these are concepts and ideas you have to understand if you want to get better. So you might be training a shot you only see 2% of the time. It's not where we want to put forth our effort. So 0 to 10, again, you're looking at 6% from fairway, fringe, and rough. So gives you a good concept there. So we're looking at 100% of all of our short game shots. The biggest zone we play in is 10 to 20 yards. So disproportionately, most of your shots are going to come from 10 to 20 yards. So we're going to look about 15% of our shots from the fairway. Fringe drops all the way down to 3. You don't get many long fringe shots just because the size of the greens are not big enough. 14% coming from the bunker and about 12% from the rough. So you can see fairway, bunker, and rough are the 3 main areas you want to work from. And then finally, from 20 to 30 yards, we're going to go fairway about 7% of the time. Fringe basically goes away. It's less than 1%. Bunker and rough is about 6%. So if I'm going to drop 10 balls, what is this going to look like? I'm probably going to drop 0 to 10 yards in the rough. I'm going to probably drop 0 to 10 in the fairway. I'm going to drop 10 to 20 in the bunker. And then I'm going to drop 10 to 20 in the fairway and then in the rough. So now we're up to 5 or 6 shots. Now we're going to drop 1 at the fairway from 20 to 30. We're going to drop 1 in the greenside bunker from 20 to 30 and 1 in the rough. And I think that gives us 1 more ball to play with. So now when I do an assessment or training, I can say, here are my lie conditions and what does it look like? Because again, I don't want to hit from the exact same lie condition every time if I'm trying to simulate golf because I'm not hitting that same shot every time around the green. So again, this is kind of concepts and what we need to understand and how to build a program. And you can see all the numbers on the screen. It'll help you to kind of paint the picture of what this looks like. So this is kind of where our journey begins. We've got to understand what's good, hitting it within 6 feet and 12 feet and what those percentages are. And then also some basic definitions of how to become a better short game player. Next week, we're going to start talking about how to build a short game. It's probably not what you think. A lot of people ball back, hands forward, drag the handle. That's a terrible way. That is a shot, but that's not a short game. So what we want to be able to give you here in the next few weeks is some variability and be able to cater how you can change motions and understanding to be able to hit a vast variety of shots. And from that variety of shots, we pick the best. And then we go attack the golf course. So be on the lookout for that for next week. And also starting this week as well, we're going to go into Whiskey High IQ. We're going to talk about Scotches and Irishes. And we're going to run an 8-week cycle on this as well. I try to mirror the two together. We're going to start with Scotches. What are the rules? We're going to talk about the 5 main areas or regions of Scotch. And then we're going to talk about Irish rules. And then we're really going to dive into what a pot still is. And we're going to talk about that. So that would be, again, following us on Whiskey High IQ as well. So thank you again for joining us. Please, if you have a chance, send some thoughts and prayers out to my friend. Hopefully we get a quick recovery for him. And I thank everybody, as always, for taking their time to listen to me babble about short game. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you in the coming days. Cheers.